Hi, my name is Kristen Armstrong, and today I'm going to talk about why classroom management and effective lesson planning is connected. Classroom management is not just about discipline, it comes down to a well-crafted lesson plan. When students are engaged and know what to expect, they're more likely to stay focused and on task, which will minimize those negative behaviors that get in the way of a well-run classroom. If we design our lesson plans with clear objectives, engaging activities, and structured transitions, we can create an environment where students feel successful and know how to participate appropriately. So the first steps in crafting a well-planned lesson plan is to begin with the learning objective. So every lesson needs to have a clear goal, and we need to know what the students are expected to learn. So we use a specific model to make sure that the objectives are specific and measurable. For example, instead of just saying students will learn multiplication, we use a stronger objective to say students will use place value strategies to add multi-digit numbers with 80% accuracy. And this tells us exactly what the success will look like and whether or not the students have mastered that skill. We set the stage with an engaging hook, so we will get our students' attention by connecting their prior knowledge and getting them involved. So like for a lesson for fractions, we would use a pizza and say, instead of jumping straight into the definitions of what fractions are and what they're expected to do, we would hold up like a pizza and say, if I eat 2 slices out of 8, what fraction did I eat and what fraction is left? The real world connection grabs their attention and gets them thinking about what fractions really are, and it helps facilitate that real world connection. The next step is the explicit instruction, or the I do. So that would be when the teacher will model what they are going to be learning and the strategies that they're going to use in order to learn it. So if I'm teaching long division, I won't just give them a problem. I would say I'll work through the steps like one at a time and give them like a very concrete modeling experience so that they know exactly what is expected of them. The next step is the we do, which is the guided practice section. And so after the modeling, the teacher would give the students an opportunity to practice the strategies that have been taught in the lesson with immediate feedback and prompting if necessary. So this is very important because if students don't have that grounding fundamental for the concept, then they're not going to be able to progress further. So this is when the teacher would be like paying attention to who is able to do it in the guided practice, who is participating and who is withdrawn, and who will require that extra support and intervention moving forward. The next step is the you do, which is the independent practice. This would be like the formative assessment portion. So the students would try the concept out on their own. And this is important because if they don't have that foundation for the meaningful independent work, then it's not going to come later. So they're going to be off task, they're going to be stalling, they're going to be acting out and looking for attention or avoiding what they're expected to do. And then after that would be the assessment. So that's when the teacher would check for the understanding. So we'd be looking at the independent practice, usually using a checklist of some kind, or like an exit ticket. And that would determine whether or not the students fully grasp the concept or if they're going to need to be pulled for further intervention. After that, it would be the closing the lesson and the reflection section. And we would end with connecting it back to real life. Like, why is this skill important? Why are we spending time learning this? And if they make that connection, then they kind of take ownership of their own learning and they're able to understand why it's important for them to be focused and engaged and mastering the concept during the lesson.